It seems like the cast of Love and Marriage, Huntsville has found themselves in the same space again. After months of distance, separate appearances, quiet tension, and behind-the-scenes whispers, it looks like several of the familiar faces from the show showed up at the Alabama A&M University homecoming. Kimmy Scott shared updates from her page, and those who follow the cast closely immediately noticed something: many of the major players were in the building. The same people who once could barely be in the same room without the air getting heavy were now seen attending the same events again. People who have followed this show for years know how deep these connections go. These are not just television friendships, these are ties built on years of shared history, broken trust, and public betrayal. To see members of the cast together in any capacity makes fans wonder what this really means. Is this a new start for the Huntsville crew? Is this a sign that the cast is moving towards some type of peace, or is it just one of those moments where everyone puts on a polite smile for the cameras but the real feelings are still there, quietly boiling underneath? Stormy Steele was spotted looking beautiful in red. Her look was striking and confident, the kind of presence that draws attention without her having to say much. Stormy has been through her own share of public reactions and mixed opinions lately, but seeing her show up in such high spirits spoke volumes. It showed that despite everything, she's not stepping back from the spotlight. She looked strong, stylish, and sure of herself, a woman who knows that no matter what's said about her, she has earned her place. Meanwhile, Tisha Scott also appeared to be in good spirits. She looked beautiful as always, dressed and ready to have a good time. Over the years, Tisha has dealt with criticism, loyalty questions, and tension within the cast. But no matter what comes her way, she continues to stand firm next to her husband Marceau and represent her brand with pride. Her appearance at the event reminded everyone that even with all the noise surrounding the show, life in Huntsville keeps moving. People still show up. They still celebrate. They still exist outside the boundaries of reality television drama, and let's not forget, the conversation also brought up Martell Holt and Ariane Curry. According to reports, both of them were in the building last year for the same homecoming event. This time, people are still waiting for confirmation if they showed up again. The photos haven't surfaced yet, but the word going around is that they may have been spotted. If that's true, it's hard not to wonder how that dynamic played out. Seeing Martell in a public setting has always brought mixed reactions, especially after everything that's unfolded with his relationships, his reputation, and the way things ended between him and Melody. What's interesting is how all of this keeps circling back to one big question: is this group finally healing, or are they just learning to coexist? Love and Marriage, Huntsville has never just been about business or property or success. It's always been about relationships, the good, the bad, and the ones that fall somewhere in between. The AAMU homecoming appearance reminded everyone that no matter how many disagreements have taken place, this cast is still deeply connected through shared roots and shared experiences. Stormy being out there, showing confidence, brings up how she's been quietly pushing forward with her own projects. Even when fans and bloggers questioned her place on the show or accused her of stirring up drama, Stormy never stopped moving. She's an example of how sometimes you have to show up even when the world expects you not to. Her energy at the event seemed light and free, as if she's letting people know that she's not tied down by negativity. Tisha's energy, too, seemed grounded. She continues to balance her family, her marriage, and her role on a show that thrives on confrontation. The night she stepped out, she looked ready to enjoy herself. And that's important, because in a world where cameras follow every move, sometimes just showing up without drama is a statement in itself. It says, "I'm still here. I'm still standing." While the homecoming brought many familiar faces together, Kimmy Scott remains the quiet center of calm. She's always been known as one of the most level-headed people on the show. When Kimmy posts something, people pay attention, not because she's loud or controversial, but because she rarely speaks unless it matters. Her post about the AAMU homecoming added credibility to the reports. When Kimmy shares, it's usually accurate. She doesn't deal in mess. She deals in facts. Fans immediately began to speculate about what this appearance could mean for the future of Love and Marriage, Huntsville. With the current season being filled with personal struggles, unexpected shifts, and emotional moments, people are wondering if this gathering could mark the beginning of a new chapter. Could this be a sign that the cast members are ready to rebuild some of their broken bonds? Or could it be that production might use this energy to create new storylines, ones that focus on reconciliation instead of rivalry? Whatever the case, the public reaction has been mixed. Some fans are excited, saying it's good to see everyone back in the same orbit again. Others are more skeptical, saying it might be a temporary calm before another storm. That's the thing about this show, the peace never lasts long. There's always another twist waiting just around the corner, even as other topics were discussed in the conversation. From YouTube commentary to Clarissa Shields' recent viral response to critics, the main focus always circled back to this idea of conflict, public perception, and how people handle criticism. In a way, it's all related. Whether it's Jackie Christie defending herself, Clarissa Shields standing up to online negativity, or the LAMH cast trying to find balance after years of chaos, the underlying theme is always about resilience. The Alabama A&M homecoming was more than just an event. For longtime fans, it was symbolic. It represented community, history, and shared experiences. It showed that despite the arguments and the tension, these people are still part of a larger world that connects them beyond the show. They didn't just meet through cameras, they come from the same towns, the same networks, the same cultural heartbeat of Huntsville. That connection doesn't disappear overnight. For Melody Sherry, who wasn't directly mentioned in this particular update, fans still wonder how she fits into this shifting atmosphere. Melody has built a life outside of the show's usual chaos, focusing on her peace, her children, and her brand. She's been vocal about protecting her energy and keeping her distance from unnecessary drama. Still, every time the rest of the cast gathers, fans can't help but ask if there's any chance she might find herself back in the same room with them one day. Time will tell. The reality of Huntsville's social circle is that no matter how divided things seem on screen, these lives continue to overlap in real time. Events like the AAMU homecoming remind everyone that despite the tension, there's still room for connection. The laughter, the photos, the quick greetings, they show that there's still humanity behind the headlines. Kimmy's quiet leadership has also been something worth noting. She's been through her own battles, health struggles, and emotional challenges, but she continues to represent grace and maturity. When she chooses to share something publicly, it often feels like she's doing it with intention, not to stir drama, but to remind people of togetherness. Her post wasn't messy or attention-seeking, it was simply a nod to community and celebration. As for the cast being back together, fans should take it with a balanced perspective. Being seen in the same place doesn't automatically mean everyone is back on perfect terms. It could mean they've reached a place where they can coexist without conflict. It could also mean that the upcoming season might focus on new beginnings, with production exploring how these personalities interact after years of division. This show has always thrived on real emotions. The love, the pain, the betrayals, they're all raw and unfiltered. When we see them together again, it's not just a casual moment. It's layered with history. Every glance, every smile, every small gesture holds meaning. Fans who have followed from the start can sense when something is off, or when a moment feels genuine. That's why this gathering sparked such strong reactions online. Some fans believe that seeing Martell and Ariane together again, even in the same environment, only reignites old wounds. Others argue that people grow, and sometimes, peace can only come from facing what once caused chaos. Whatever the reason, the fact that these names are still being discussed shows the impact this cast has had on reality television. There's also something powerful about the fans themselves, the ones who followed every update, watched every live, and analyzed every post. The fans have become part of the story too. Their reactions shape the conversation, their loyalty keeps the show alive, and their debates online often influence how narratives unfold. When the fans saw everyone at the same event, they started connecting the dots, asking questions, and wondering if something bigger is happening behind the scenes, and maybe there is. Maybe the production team is quietly preparing for a reunion or a major event that will bring everyone back together on screen. Or maybe this was just a moment of real life, no scripts, no cameras, just people from the same town crossing paths again. Either way, it shows that time continues to move forward, and people continue to evolve. The AAMU homecoming also highlighted how connected this cast is to their community. Before the fame, before the headlines, these were regular people living and working in Huntsville. The show may have amplified their lives, but moments like this remind everyone that they still have roots. That's something that grounds the story, the fact that behind the reality show persona, there are real people living real lives. Stormy showing up confident, Tisha glowing, Kimmy staying balanced. It all ties back to the same message, growth. The cast is learning to exist beyond the arguments. They may not all be friends, but they're finding ways to move on with their lives. And that's what fans need to see, because as entertaining as the drama can be, there's something even more powerful about watching people rebuild. The cast being seen together again doesn't erase the past, but it hints at the possibility of peace. It reminds everyone that no matter how bad things get, time can soften edges, and shared history can bring people full circle. Whether this marks the start of something new or just a brief pause before the next storm, one thing is clear: the Love and Marriage, Huntsville story is far from over. The people, the emotions, and the connections remain as strong as ever. This recent gathering has reignited conversations and curiosity. Fans are watching closely, waiting to see what comes next, and wondering how this group will navigate yet another chapter of their intertwined lives. For now, it's safe to say that Huntsville feels alive again. The familiar faces, the smiles, the outfits, the energy, all of it brought back memories of when the show first began. Back when the focus was on love, ambition, and the dream of building something together. Maybe, just maybe, this reunion energy can lead them back to that original spirit. And no matter how many ups and downs they've faced, the cast always finds a way to come back into focus. Whether it's through family events, business launches, or university homecomings, they continue to be part of each other's lives. And as long as that remains true, the story of Huntsville, with all its love, conflict, and redemption, will continue to unfold, one gathering at a time.